city based on industry, from market stalls to collieries, owners, directors and entrepreneurs. Oh, we've got all that and more. No matter how high you fly, no matter how far you go, the spotlight's on you and we call Wrexham home.
Hello everybody, welcome to this episode of the Wrexham Business Spotlight. This is a podcast that focuses on Wrexham businesses and Wrexham business owners. It's sponsored by AB Accountancy and hosted by myself, Adrian. This week's guest is Rob Clark, very well-known Wrexhamite, whose business is Mad4movies. So Rob, I've given you a little introduction. If you could just pad that out a bit and tell everyone about you and your business.
It's a very nice introduction indeed. I've been Mad4movies, which has been in the town now since 2006. I say in the town, obviously I started off in the Butcher's Market. I'm now located up in Queen's Square while they refurb the Butcher's Market. So I sell movies, music, books and a variety of other things that tie into that kind of media. Kind of role.
Okay, and you're quite well known as an individual, never mind a business, I think, as well. Is that something you'd?
Well, yeah, I suppose if you have been through the business, I know a lot of people, and obviously having a presence in the town, I suppose you do get known. And with regards to obviously following Wrexham Football Club has been a major thing as well. My place obviously was it seems to be a bit of a magnet for Wrexham fans to come and have a moan or a cheer after the game.
Myself included sometimes.
And yourself included, yes. We've put the world to rights on the Wrexham Football Club front a few times, haven't we? But I suppose as I say, being in the town and people know me and I've had a lot of other jobs in the past as well before and I've lived in the town all my life.
And you're a current star of the FX Welcome to Wrexham documentary?
Yeah, bizarrely, I can still wake up and think, how bizarre it is, and people come in and show me on TV. Yeah, it's...
Got your name on IMDb as well, I believe?
On IMDb. I was actually on IMDb before. Well, that's a strange old thing. My friend, a good mate of mine I grew up with, Steve Evans, he's a bit of an amateur filmmaker. Well, he was an amateur filmmaker. Now he's actually done documentaries and things. He's screened, and stuff on DVD and whatnot. Yes, I have had them in the shop. But so I've actually in his early films, I was basically a gopher, a stunt driver. I think I was credited as well.
Right.
Which was basically driving my Vauxhall Nova down a country lane and then pressing the brakes and hoping, many years ago. But I got involved with the Welcome to Wrexham through what I was telling you about is people coming and speaking to me about the match. And there's a guy, a local filmmaker, wanted to do his own. I think he wanted to do his own documentary when the takeover came to light, and a local filmmaker called Leighton Cox, and someone told him that I was a Wrexham fan, and a lot of people, Wrexham fans, hung out in the shop and whatever. So he came in and he filmed a few things himself, and then he actually got hired by Welcome to Wrexham as a cameraman. So he gave them my information, and they came in. They said, "Oh, we know all about you. Would you like to be on it?" Why not?
Great. So just to rewind a few steps from there, really. Tell us about your background and what was the path to you having a DVD store in the town?
Yeah, it goes back. I've always liked the idea of making having a business, if you like. I remember, goodness me, it goes back a long way till I was about 12 or 13, selling apples with a couple of mates I got from my nine and tides at large back garden. So we had a little a little business, I suppose. We don't think we made much money going around door to door trying to sell apples, but even going back
I think Alan Sugar used to sell fish, didn't
well,
they,
exactly,
when he started out? So you're on a very similar trajectory.
Well,
now.
you think I'm a couple of quid
Both
behind.
ended up in technology as well.
Yeah, retro technology now, definitely. But I went through school and I didn't do particularly well. I struggled with maths, really bad with maths. It took me about 4 attempts to get me GCSE. I had to reset in Yale, and then I went on to a business degree course in Newey, as Wrexham University as it is now. But I had to pass my maths in Yale first. I was on my last attempt, and I managed to get a C. And when I was doing I did this business degree from '96, and I couldn't get past it. It was quantitative methods. Again, struggled with numeracy and whatever. So the second year of the degree, they said, well, you've passed everything else, but you haven't passed this. So what do I was going to have to either resit the year, or I could do a top up and take a HND. But they did an assessment on me and found I had dyscalculia, which is basically dyslexia with numbers and sequences and things. So that was why I struggled. I struggled through mathematics and number-related things throughout.
And undiagnosed all through
school. Until I was in uni, and then someone did a report. But I did the HND. I thought there's no point repeating the year and trying. It was, I thought I can't face doing another year of this. Of like 1 or 2 subjects. I thought no, I'll do the HND, and then thinking well, I'll open up my own business or whatever, and I ended up working a call centre in Manweb. So of Scottish Power, it just turned to at the time, I think, and it wasn't a job I wanted to go into by any means, but your first real job, I suppose, and I learned a lot of things, just within the work, being in the workplace, and it was good in a way, and I met. This does go to how I got involved in doing what I'm doing now. I met a lad there who was working with me, a Londoner called Darren, and he taught me a bit about computers and whatever else. And the systems, he was doing a bit of training, and trained us up on the package at the time that they were using for their software and all that. And good mates with Darren, and found out he lived across the road from across the Spider Park. I lived with my parents and still at that time, and he was across the Spider Park, and so I used to get a lift to work with him. So I got good mates with him. Anyway, a long story short, he got a job working up in Manchester for a company called a closeouts company, if you like. It's a company called Brennan Atkinson, who would basically buy a job lot of widgets and from one company that was going out of season and selling to another company. And so he got a job working there, and I got a part-time job. I worked up there for 3 days a week, and I was teaching. By that point, I was teaching. I was doing some IT training. I actually had 3 jobs on the go at one point. One working in the adult centre in what was now the Groves, and all the bits now, but one working for a company called Net Education, and then a couple of days, 2 or 3 days a week up working for Brendan Atkinson. I thought I might want to move up there or whatever, but my job was basically selling samples and things on eBay, and they'd have these quite expensive watches and all kinds. One minute it was expensive watches, another minute it was like frisbees. It really was kind of
whatever they could get their hands on.
Whatever they could get their hands on, but they were a really successful company in their own right. They were a family-owned business, and I ended up doing some IT work there and doing some online sales, and I really kind of got to know eBay and things like that then. This was 2002, so it was not everybody was using it then. And you could buy the items they had. You could buy at a discounted rate. And one of the things was DVDs. It was in 2002, so a lot of people still had VHS tapes and things like that.
Quite new, weren't they then?
So I bought these DVDs. I think they cost me £2.50 each, and they were the worst films in the world. Do you know what I mean? They were like Brad Pitt's first film when he was like 15, and he did it for like 2 minutes, and he'd have his name across the, they were rubbish, and some budget things. But what I did is I bought these DVDs, and I thought, well, I went down a car boot sale, and I sold them at £5 each. But then I had people bringing, I did a few car boot sales, and I had people bringing videos as well, and other DVDs, like new, and part exchanging them. And I knew, you know, obviously, you know, I'm thinking, oh, I was making a fortune, but anyway, but I just loved it. I loved reading and dealing, you know. And
you're a Wrexham Dell boy, aren't you?
A Wrexham Dell boy, yeah, it was a bit like that. But I just enjoyed it, and I'm a big film fan anyway, so it worked. So that's really how I ended up buying and selling films.
At some point, you've gone from a car boot to having the physical store.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You know, I actually had 3 jobs at one point, and then I just got burnt out with IT. Really, I'll be honest with you. I wasn't really. It was I don't know. I just had enough of it really, and I was down to working one job in IT, and then I got a job working for M&S Money, the business part, which wasn't particularly. I didn't particularly enjoy. And another.
A lot of jobs seem like could involve numbers here, Rob.
I know. Do you know what I mean? I know. Probably why I didn't enjoy them, but no. Well, it was just account management and stuff like that, really, and a bit of IT work. But I went to work for an IT firm, and then I lost my called GB Group, and then I lost my job, and ended up between jobs basically. So one day I'm sitting at a friend of mine's house who had also lost his job because he was a panel beater. He started to develop vibration white finger. So as you can imagine, not ideal for a panel beater. So we were sitting there and thinking, goodness me, look at us. And his wife said to us, look at you like a pair of old, washed up, like whatever, you know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do with your life? And I said, well, I don't really want to go back to an IT job. I want to do something different. And she said, why don't you own a little stall in the market doing your DVDs, you know? And I said, it won't work then. Well, what have you got to lose? So at the moment I was renting a room off a mate of mine at the time, and so I moved back home fully at my mum and dad's, and they were really supportive, and they said, if you want to do this, then we'll help you out as much as we can. I had a bit of money from my job, and I went to have a look at the People's Market, and there wasn't particularly the stalls there. They didn't really lend themselves well. I wanted a lock-up unit.
Yeah.
The Butcher's Market, it was full at the time. It was 2006. There was obviously a lot of butchers still there then, and various other stalls. So it was a busy little market. I got the smallest unit there. And I opened it up, and I did it, and my first day I was quite happy with what I did, you know, and I thought, well, this is quite cool. And then I had people bringing things in on a bigger scale in the car boot, swapping things, and you're learning, you're living on more rarer things coming in, which you're thinking, oh, okay, you know. And I just enjoy, I just really kind of got into it, and a year later, 2007, October, the homebrew shop was downsizing, and I took on that unit. So I moved to the unit I was in then for, until the summer.
Until a few months ago, yeah.
So I went just kind of like, I thought initially it'd be something to do while I thought of what to do with my career, and then eventually I just never left. I did have an idea of 2018. I kind of left, I say, for a few months. I
remember the big announcement that you were shutting up shop.
Well, I don't know, things were going down a bit, and the rise of streaming, I think was affecting it. It sounds bizarre now, because streaming's, it's more, it is everything, it seems, these days, but at that point, I think, I don't know, things were going, things were heading south, and I got the opportunity to set business up with a mate of mine. We thought we'd give it a go, but I did keep the shop up and running with a retired gentleman that helps me out, Dennis, who ran it for me, basically selling everything, just as a favour to help me out. Sadly, the business with my friend didn't work. We agreed after a few months that maybe we should go our own way, and he's still a good mate of mine now, so it's not...
And you went back to what you know?
And I thought, well, if I change a few things around and do a few little bit, you know, and change all the pricing structure, I renegotiated my rent on the shop, you know, because I was on an older contract when I was paying more than the new customers, businesses were coming in were on a lot less, and I said, look, you know, if you want, I can come back, but I'd have to. And to be fair, you know, they were very helpful to me. And I started doing other little bits and bobs. I started doing more music CDs. Did a heck of a lot more online. Took on books as well. But it was mainly I don't know. It was a strange old thing because, as you say, it was. I did think that it was coming to an end, but I think I convinced myself due to the rise of streaming. You know, it was going down, but I think all it needed was a bit of some fresh ideas, really, and the pricing structure was one of them. You know, I was too, you know, maybe too dear for the general thought.
So streaming must obviously have had a massive impact on your business, and we've seen there was a Blockbusters in the town that's gone. There was a Choices in the town that's gone. Probably some others I'm not thinking of right now.
Goodness me!
And you're still going, Rob. So what's the secret?
Well, yeah, you know, obviously they were rental stores and they were massive stores and whatever. I've always kept my costs very low, and if I can make a profit, I don't gamble. Do you know what I mean? I know my business back to front. I'm upset, you know, maybe obsessed, I suppose, in some way. I don't know, you know, just I live the business, you know, to my wife and kids and mine. No, I obviously make time for my family, but you know, I don't know. I think it is the case now that obviously streaming came, but I've started noticing people saying, well, have you got so and so? It was on Netflix, but it's not on Netflix anymore. Oh right, okay, so there we are. The Marvel films being an example of that. I think they were on Netflix.
So I guess the Netflix business model is to have what's new and current.
Well,
and once people have watched something, they're just looking for the next program all the time.
They do a lot of their own films.
So they're leaving the sort of the older end of the market for people like you, I guess.
Well, there's a lot of films that aren't on any streaming service. And another thing, I had a guy in the other day, funny enough, and he came in buying, he was doing a part exchange, a lot, you know, do part exchanges and whatever. There's a lot of things I don't bother with anymore because I've got too many of the same title or whatever else. But
we'll get onto that one in particular later.
Yeah, it's a bit of the ongoing joke. But you know, he had Little Britain off me and The In-Betweeners, and he says, well, I want to watch them. How I watch them, they're edited or they, you know, on these streaming services, or they're not on these streaming services and things. So yeah, I think it's a number of things, to be honest with you. I do think now there's not. I have such a vast array of stock. You know, it'd be hard for someone to come and do the similar kind of thing without having stock. You know, knowing the stock back and you know. People say, do you have a database? I said, yeah, it's in here. You know, if you ask me if I've got a film, I'll tell you. You know, it's 40,000.
Yeah, I think one you've sort of brushed past, but you said you keep your costs low.
Yeah,
I definitely think there's lessons for all business owners and that. I've seen people start businesses and just seem to spend loads of money, and you need to be able to weather tough times, don't you? And every business has them.
100%. That is one of the biggest things I would say when anybody's starting a business. No end of times, when I was in that market, people would say, well, why didn't you get a shop? Why didn't you... Now, my business, it worked in a market. I knew it worked in a market. It was doing okay. If I go to a shop, I might be in the wrong location. You know, I might. It's hard to get people through a little door for shops. It's difficult. Shop owners will tell you that. In a market, people are wandering about and they're looking. And however, my shop was I had a unit, but it had things outside where people could look about, and before they knew it, they were in, and there was no kind of. It didn't feel awkward, you know. Sometimes you go into a shop and it can be deadly silence. There'd be nobody, you know, and you can't really get out of there. But I always greet everybody with you know, I'm always pleasant. I say, you know, if there's any particulars, I say, give me a shout. So then they know straight away what to look for, and it breaks that awkward silence, you know. I do think, you know, I think the manner of you treat customers and how you engage with them when they first come into your business is massive. You know, you can secure a customer if you like, or lose it straight away, however you are.
And I think you can have a good product. If you don't have good customer service, that's pointless. People just want that customer service, don't they? 100%.
You know, people don't want to be bothered, but I find, but they do like, you know, they like a greeting, you know, and obviously when I say I've got that many things, you see how much stock I've got in my shop and more, obviously, in my lockup and whatnot. So if they come in and I can say, well, you know, maybe you're looking for, and they say, oh, I'm looking for a copy of The Shining or whatever, I can tell them straight away, and then you can talk about the film. If they don't want to talk, that's fine, you know, not everyone wants to talk. But I do find it, people like that personal touch as well. And I get a lot of people who come in and say they miss the video shop, they miss coming in and choosing a film, they miss coming in and you can go on Netflix, you're sitting down, at the end of the day, you can spend 3 hours scrolling through blooming rubbish, watching 20 minutes of one, that's crap, you know, 15 seconds of another, you know, so-and-so's in that. But when you used to go to the video shop, or when you HMV or something like that, you know, you used to choose something, you read the back and think, but you were invested in it because you bought it or rented it, hadn't you? So when you got home, very rarely do people turn things off. You know, there will be that film, everyone will have that film that you rented out and you can remember, and it was that awful. But generally, you would watch it. And I think I like people come in and ask for recommendations. They like horror films, they like slasher, but well, see, well, that's quite good. Or even if I don't watch a lot of slasher films, I get a lot of people come in and say, oh, have you seen some? So that's brilliant, you know. And horror nuts, or people who like twists and thrillers and comedies, whatever. But so yeah, there's that, definitely that personal touch. I think helps a lot.
Is there one particular thing you find people are looking for now as the sort of industry has changed? Like a different genre people are looking for that doesn't go onto streaming or anything like that?
There's a few, yeah. There are a lot of films that for some reason they got released on DVD or video or whatever. They don't pick up by streaming services or it tends to be, I don't know really. Titles as such, but genres. Horror films are always popular. You know, I know there is a streaming service, I think, which Shudder, I think, but I think there's a lot of budget movies and whatever else. But obviously, at different times of the year, different things sell. If actors are in the news, you know, when Johnny Depp, I'll tell you what, right? When Johnny Depp was in court with Amber Heard,
you were cashing in, were you?
Oh, Depp, you know, I was dragging out, I mean, all kinds of Johnny Depp films. Yeah, but he's current, he's in the news. You find when people pass away, bless them, you know, the name's in the news again, and people will ask you, you know, for, I think, Fools Rush In was asked for that twice last, when Matthew Perry died, on the Friends box set. You know, it's just because the name is in the news again, and people are just, or if there's another film coming out, another Mission Impossible, you'll sell more the old Mission Impossible. Even though the TV companies think the same way. If there's another Mission Impossible, they'll put the Mission Impossibles on or whatever else. But people, you know, they come and ask me, you know. So that helps.
And I guess there is still a hardcore people that just like a physical film in their hands.
More than I thought, really.
Collectibles kind of people, and look at the shelf, and I've got all that collection there. And
there are people that come to my shop every day or every couple of days, or certainly every week when they get a day off or whatever else, to see what's new to come in.
Do some of them use you like they would use a video rental service?
Yeah,
they'll pick one up a couple of days later, tempted for something else.
100%, yeah, most definitely, yeah. Because I've got so much stuff, and if they like action films, they can come in and have 3 for a £5 or whatever, and actually bring them back a couple of days, like a couple of quid against something else. And yeah, there's a lot to do that, yeah. And I make sure that all my stock is. I bought one of the best. Well, I bought this when I let's say my sabbatical, I think they call it. When I came back after a couple of months, I bought an industrial cleaner, if you like, a disc cleaner, and I make sure everything, all the boxes are nice, all the discs. So people that get them, they're not like something that's been found on the
Yeah,
bottom
yeah.
shelf of a charity shop that looks, someone's trod on it, So I think that goes a long way. Okay, my shop might be a little bit Heath Robinson, there's a few shelves that don't match and whatever else, but I make sure that the stock is always nicely presented, so, but yeah.
So do you think there'll always be a place for DVDs, or do you think there's sort of an end date on this?
Who knows? I look at things about I judge every 6 months really, and that's what I did before. I thought, it'll be 6 months, and I'm thinking, maybe it's time to get out or whatever. But but obviously I came back. But, so I judge it like that really. I'm who knows? I used to think, I worry about job security, but then I feel about your mates of mine who are, in various companies and whatever else, and they get, there's redundancies. Mm-hmm. Lots of people losing their job. I think, well, my jobs, I suppose, even with what I do, with essentially people looking in and thinking, well, that's on the downward spiral, physical media. It's probably my job's probably no less secure than no less secure than any other job, is it really? So
yeah. The difference is it's your decision when you make yourself redundant rather than someone else's.
Absolutely. I honestly, who knows? The point as long as there's enough people buying them for whatever reason, if they're collectors, if they want to search for stuff they can't find online, or if they want a physical copy, or if they like the rental bit where they buy them and bring them back and swap them. As long as there's enough of those people, but I can't slack with my job. I've got to, I've got to be. I can't have loads of days off. I can't, I've got to get on top of my lockup, and I have a problem with that. When I work hard and have it. It's not easy, but it's it's my baby, if you like, the shop, and when I built up. But I will cut, when it's not, if I feel it's not going right, one day I'll shut down.
That'd be a sad day, Rob.
Well, hopefully it's not soon.
Yeah. So come on, let's do it. What is the one film that you have got the most copies of?
Well, there's
rack that database you've always told us
there's
about.
a bit of an ongoing joke with Donnie Darko. I think at one point I don't know, but I ended up with about 50 copies of it. Various ones that came on swaps and ones that bought, and it was it doesn't exactly fly off the shelf. I think there was a
one case, wasn't it? I'll sell you that DVD for £2, £1.50 if you take a Donnie Darko with
Donnie
it.
Darko, yeah. It's just become a bit of a joke on my socials, as you follow me, There's always quite often a Donnie Darko reference, or a Charlie's Angels, or Mission Impossible 2 was the other one. Yeah, I did a massive stock take in the lockdown, and I found I thought I can get everything together and box it up. I know what I've got, how many of it. I would keep a good records of how many films I have, but I found out I had like a box full of Rock and Rollers, the Guy Ritchie film. I was like, how are they? It took me eye off the ball with that one. I curbed the Donnie Darkos, and to the extent that not long ago someone asked me for Donnie Darko and I didn't have one.
No.
I swear.
What did you do with 50 Donnie Darkos?
Oh, exactly. They must have gone, but. I must have eventually sold over the years, but I built my stash back up now, so I've probably got enough.
Did you sell them Donnie Darkos to your big celebrities who came in to visit you? Let's talk about that.
Oh, the big celebrities, yeah. Obviously through the Welcome to Wrexham, we have a bit of a background to it. One of the producers phoned me up, October, November, was it, when he came over, I think, the Maidenhead.
Yeah,
Wrexham.
the first visit over, wasn't it? They did a bit of a tour of the town, didn't they?
They did a tour of the town, and they said, Rob, would you like Rob and Ryan to come and see you? And I'm like, in the shop. I'm like, well, okay, I'm going to say no. So they said, look, you can't tell anybody about this. This was the day before. Can't tell anybody they're going to come in, because if there's loads of people there, and this was still a time when we some COVID restrictions to do a COVID test and things like that, and you can't let anyone know.
And I think Ryan particularly was concerned about catching COVID and not being able to fly home, wasn't he?
Yeah,
on his first visit.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think it was bizarre, the whole thing. But I said, okay, fair enough, I'll trade as normal. I can't even tell you the traders in the market. But some of them twigged, because when the film crew came in the market, I turned the music off. So when the music went off, they knew that somebody was coming to film, and obviously they knew Ryan and Rob were around, and they were in the parish church, and they knew that they were in sound, and then they came up. So they were phone me and give me like a 5 minute warning, if you like, that I had to give people, just to let people know that something was going on. And I had a guy there who'd come in. He's a bit of a character. He's a good guy. He came in with about 4 or 5 children with him who were running riots, and he'd always look through my sale pile, which was the pound section, or 15 for a fiver. Probably a Donnie Darko or two in there, I think. But and he was piling up trying to find 15 he hadn't seen, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to say to him. But I say not to tell anybody. They told me, but I had to tell my wife. I can't keep a secret like that. She'd kill me. Oh yeah, Ryan and Rob were in the shop, but I didn't tell you. And it was holiday, so like the kids in as well. They were really bored. I couldn't tell them, and they were just sitting in the corner of the shop, watching YouTube on the phone. Well, why were you? I don't know. So Carrie was there, like my wife Carrie. She's like, you're gonna have to say to him, look, he's gonna have to leave. You can't. Rob and Ryan are gonna come. They're gonna see him there with all these thousands of kids running around. Well, fine, but they're not gonna come in. And I was like, let's see, look, mate, I've got an emergency. I've just found the last one, he says. I'm there grabbing, because obviously I keep the discs out of the cases. And I'm there putting all these discs in, and I just about did it, and then about a minute or two later, the security lot came, the entourage, if you like, and then Ryan and Rob, Rob walked in the shop first, and then Ryan came in, unbelievable, to be honest. It was, they were really nice guys, talking to me like I'm talking to you now, really interested, and I think Ryan said, I've never seen so many DVDs in one place. He's like, Rob was like, yeah, goodness me. And then he came up and he said to me, he said, I have all these films here. I think he thought I was a rental shop at first. I was like, he said, is there anyone you've not rented? It was an own goal, it was an open goal. I had to say, I turned to Rob and I said, well, we won't talk about the Green Lantern, which he then laughed, and he said, well, something like, I don't think even the producers could sell that one or something. And he actually, Rob and Ryan gave me some DVDs that they brought in, and signed them all, 3 guys, and Always Sunny, and one with Green Lantern, and it was Apologies in Advance, Ryan Reynolds. So which was a nice touch, but yeah, totally bizarre, surreal, but everything's surreal in Wrexham these days, isn't it?
And then Ryan followed up by sending you a load of films, didn't he?
That was
made the press.
The following summer, we was on a family holiday in down in the Cotswolds. It was lovely weather. We were there, we had a little cottage there. It was lovely, and the end of the day we'd gone out, and me and Carrie sitting down watching TV, and get this message through on my phone. Now bear in mind, I'm quite active on Twitter now, but I've had a Twitter account for like 10 years, and I couldn't understand what it was. I just couldn't get into it. Message, Ryan Reynolds followed you. There was a message come on, and I'm like, Carrie, what's going on here? This is surely a fake. She's like, no, look, he's got a blue ticket to see Ryan Reynolds. What's he saying? Rob, I have some DVDs to send you. Like that. I was like, why do I get it? I'm actually talking via Twitter to him, and he's saying, like, basically him and Blake had a clear out of one of the rooms, and they had a load of they were actually
had a load of Donnie Darkos, didn't they?
Donnie Darkos, yeah. I get thinking, imagine if Jake Gyllenhaal bought the club, and he's in Donnie Darko, and sent me a load of copies of Donnie Darko. I sent them back, saying I had too many of them. But he sent me a load of Deadpools, and Blake's big film was Age of Adeline, amongst others, and a load of those. And it was really surreal. This package came at home, and they were autographed and everything, and I thanked him very much. And then I thought, he said, well, you can, put the email. He goes, they might not play on your system over there. I understand it as a different system, which they do. Obviously the being Blu-rays, I think the Zone A and the Zone B. But he said they might look cool in the shop. But I thought I can do some good with these, because I thought I can do a bit for charity with some of them, because I've got that many of them. I don't need loads of them, you know. Even if I put them on the walls in the shop, whatever, I don't really want to cover them with this. And I thought, well, my son's got a rare blood disorder, ITP, which nobody knows exactly what it is. You know, he explained to me, and no one's ever heard of it, neither did we, until he was diagnosed with it. It goes back to just before his second birthday, when he was in nursery, and we noticed he was bruising very easily and covered in bruises, and we were told in the nursery, and said, look, take him to the doctors and take him to the hospital and get him checked out. We were a bit worried about him, so our world got turned upside down. We feared, it could be anything, and ITP. So we went through the mill for years with Charlie, as basically covered in bruises and cuts to him, and we had to be treated with children's ward. It felt like I had my own seat there. I was there that often. Luckily, he's on some medication these days, which does give him some platelets, so he can do, he can function normally, if you like. But obviously, there's contact sports and things. He won't be able to participate, and we've got to be very careful with him. But I thought it'd be a great idea. I've always wanted to raise money for, raise awareness more than anything of ITP. So I thought I'd do it. So I phoned up ITP Awareness, which is based in Luton way down there. And I said, this might sound very strange. I said, do you know who Ryan Reynolds is? So they were like, yeah. I said, well, he's just bought my football club. Oh yeah, Wrexham. Oh yeah, we know all about that. And he's donated me some signed. I'd like to raffle them or auction them, whatever, and raise some money for an awareness for you guys, And we raised, with raffles, local raffles and a couple of eBay auctions, we raised over £2,400.
That's great.
So, and it made but I asked Ryan first, because he sent them to me, and I said, look, can I use them for it? I didn't want him being, his name, people get the wrong end of the stick and they think that he's raising money for his charity and whatever else, and I gave him a background, and I said what was going on. He was really, he was asking me about Charlie basically more than anything. He was saying, I'm really sorry that Charlie lives with that and whatever. Of course you can use them however you want to, And as I say, we raised that amount of money for charity, a cause close to my heart. It was fantastic to be able to do something with those.
And probably the bigger picture is the awareness you raised as well.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I had a girl that comes in my shop. And she came in with her mum, and she said, I've never met anybody else with ITP. She said she'd had it since she was 17 or something, 30 something now, and you didn't know what it was for years, and eventually they diagnosed it, and she was quite emotional, really, and she said, oh, it's fantastic, of the awareness of it all. And
hello everybody, this episode of the Wrexham Business Spotlight is sponsored by AB Accountancy, who are an accountancy firm based in the heart of Wrexham, who believe in producing high quality accounts and unbeatable customer service. You can visit our website www.abaccountancy.co, or you can find us on Facebook and Instagram, where we regularly post hints and tips to help you with your accounts and your tax. If you would like to sponsor an episode of this podcast in season 2, please get in touch. Right, sorry for disturbing you, let's get back to the podcast. I mean, hopefully one of the things this podcast does is help people who want to think about starting businesses. A market stall is a good way in, isn't it? It's a low cost option to get yourself started and get yourself trading.
Absolutely. There have been businesses in the town going back for years who started in market stalls and got bigger and moved into different premises, and also like people like myself who are quite a creature of habit. I think my business suits a market, so I look to stay in a market or a market environment like I'm in now. But every business is different, isn't it? But yeah, it is, absolutely. And it should be a low-cost entry, if you like, into retail, your own business.
Yeah. Right, Rob, let's wrap up with the same 3 questions I give to everyone.
Okay.
What does success look like for you?
Success is, as I say, looking at the short-term future and achieving those goals and keep on trading, just keeping going, really. I do like to think what a little bit of extra bits I can do to change it. I've recently started doing puzzle magazines, like the crosswords and things like that. They tie in with the books and things that I do. Just little extras, that aren't too out there. If I started selling, I don't know, trainers or whatever, it might be a bit. But any little things that tie in with what I do, and it keeps the mind active and it keeps the business fresh. Just little things. But yeah, success to me is I think I've been successful. Still be. A lot of people say, well, goodness me, how are you still going with physical media after all these years? But I think having a good knowledge, a good stock level, and basically giving 100% to it, and I do that.
You definitely do. I'll vouch for that. So if someone was starting a business and they approached you as a very long, successful business owner, what's the one piece of advice you could give them? Just give it your all. Just give it your all. If you're a shop, open up. Don't come in for an hour a day. Don't think, oh, this is rubbish. I'm going at 12 o'clock because I've hardly done anything. You have to give it time. And I know it's difficult. It's difficult. I've known businesses come in the market and they open up and they've got a family and they've got a mortgage, they've got a second job and whatever else. I was lucky that when I started mine, I had a little bit of money behind me. I moved back to my parents, and I got their full support, and I had a lot of stock already that I accrued. So I was very fortunate, and not. It's very hard. It's really hard, but you've got to do. You have to give it your all, and listen to people. Any advice? Be nice to people. Even if you don't agree with. If people come in the shop and they have some opinions you don't agree with or whatever else, change the subject. Be nice to them. You have to. Obviously, there's that thing: the customer's always right, but I don't know if I fully agree with the customer always being right. But I think you've got to. You've got to engage with people and listen to people who've been in the game for a long time. You might not take all their advice, but when I first went, I remember the guy who had a second-hand bookstore. Ironic that I'm doing a second-hand bookstore as well now. And he said, use every bit of your shop because you're paying for it. Use up any bit of space you can without it looking overplugged. Yeah. But he says, you're paying for that space there. If you can get a shelf up, do it. The more things you have in your shop, the more likely you are to sell them, aren't you? Yeah.
If you've only got, £100 worth of stock, you're not going to make any money, are you? So those are my little pearls of wisdom, I suppose.
Thank you. A spotlight has been on you on the Wrexham Business Spotlight for this episode. Time for you to return favour, shine it back on another business that you think needs a bit of praise.
I'll shine it out on a great little business that I look up to, I think, really, and it's a similar business to mine but different. It's Moonlight Records up on top.
Okay, yeah.
Brian, who owns it, has owned that since 1987, I think. CDs and vinyl back then. Vinyl's come back in with a smash, hasn't it? Let's be honest.
He's probably on his second breath, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. And he still goes. And he's location-wise, he's a bit off the beaten track, but. He's specialist, he knows his stuff, he gives it his all, he has done 30 odd years, and he's a good guy, and he's got a smashing little business there, and I'd like to give him a shout out.
Excellent. Brian from Moonlight Records, and this has been Rob from Mad4movies. Rob, thank you very much.
Hey, great, fantastic, loved it, mate.
Cheers. Hello everybody, it's Adrian here. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of the Wrexham Business Spotlight podcast. Very much appreciated. Please also support our guests and their wonderful businesses. You can like and subscribe to this. You could share the podcast so your friends can enjoy it. And you could also find us on social media on Facebook,